Mark Cuban once made $5,700,000,000 in a single day, all because he wanted to listen to his favorite basketball team play live. Spoiler alert, it's not the Dallas Mavericks. Cuban has always been a diehard basketball fan ever since he was a kid. In fact, the first pair of basketball shoes he's ever owned came when he was 12 years old after he saved enough money selling garbage bags around his neighborhood. See, back then, Cuban's family didn't have a lot of money. They were a working class family from Pittsburgh who all had to work odd jobs just to have money for college. And once Cuban graduated, he only had $60 to his name. You'd think that having an early business background working different jobs would help Cuban become successful immediately after he started working, but you'd be wrong. As it turns out, he got fired from his first 3 jobs. So how on earth was he able to make $5 billion in a single day? To fully understand his journey, we have to go back to where it all started in 1982, when Cuban got fired from his 3rd job working for one of the earliest PC software retailers in Dallas. He actually did a pretty good job early on, but once his boss found out he once ditched opening the store to instead meet with a potential client for the company, he got laid off immediately. This experience only helped inspire Cuban to start his own software reseller company instead and called it Micro Solutions. And after 8 years, Cuban got his big break and sold the company for $6 million. Cuban even said he was already satisfied with the money he made and only had one more problem. He had a hard time getting updates on his favorite team at the time, the Indiana Hoosiers. In 1995, he finally found a solution. Cuban invested $10,000 in AudioNet to become the first streaming service to show out-of-town sporting events on the internet. Once video with audio became available, the company was renamed to Broadcast.com since it's grown to more than an audio streaming platform. The progress Cuban made in the last 4 years caught the eye of Yahoo, who wanted to get in on it bad. They eventually sold the domain to Yahoo in exchange for $5.7 billion in their stocks, which Cuban sold immediately. And it turned out to be the best business move he's ever made. Yahoo's acquisition of Broadcast.com actually turned out to be one of the worst acquisitions of all time, since the internet stock market dried up months after the sale was made. But for Cuban, he had to see how far his luck could take him. With $1 billion to his name, he bought a $40 million jet, invested in the internet search engine, and of course, bought the Dallas Mavericks for $285 million. A team valued by Forbes in October 2022 at $3.3 billion. Since then, Cuban's invested in different startup companies and launched a pharmacy that sells different drugs for half the price. Not too bad for a guy who's only had $60 coming out of college.